Hi everyone, it's James here from Production Expert, and welcome to part 2 of my series on all things Luna, the Universal Audio recording system. In this video, we're going to look at tracking. I've got my trusty X4 by my side, and I'm going to show you how the Luna landscape, lends itself to tracking using Universal Audio hardware. So here we are in Luna, and I've already put together a basic drum pattern using 3 instances of the new Shape instrument. Now, Shape is included for free in this free application, so no expense spent there, which is nice. I'll play that back for you now. It's a pretty basic part. You might even recognize the groove. And we've got a fair few miles of that to keep us happy. Now, the first thing I want to do in this tracking session is add a bass. So I'm using Command, Shift, and N, and I'm going to choose an instrument. I'm going to make it a Mini Moog or Mini Moog, depending on where you're from. Let's add that. Here it is. It's appeared down here. Let's call it Bass Synth, and I'm going to choose a preset that I know is going to work. Let's have a quick listen to that. Let's put it into Record Enable. Nice. Let's have some of that. I'm going to go back to the top and record a pretty simple bass line. So there it is, showing up beautifully in the timeline. So I can select that, or actually if I do it properly, I can select the whole thing, and I can hit 16th note quantize, bit of swing. Starting to sound like I want it to. It's got that kind of Stevie-esque vibe. Let's add some guitar with this Telecaster. So let's start by adding an audio track. I'm going to have a mono guitar part. Don't want 2, just want the 1. Let's add that in. Let's label it Guitar Rhythm. And this is where things are going to start to get interesting. So we're plugged into the Hi-Z input. We're going to go into this channel, and I'm going to make sure I have ARM turned on. ARM, Advanced Real-Time Monitoring. So the first plugin I'm going to use is I'm going to put a guitar amp sim in there, and I'm going to use the Fender 55 Tweed Deluxe. Now you'll notice that plugins load incredibly quickly, which I really, really like. With that in mind, let's just give this guitar part a bit of a try, see what we're going to play. That should work out just nicely. Now, what I also want to do is I'm going to put a record effect in there, and I want to put an 1176 in. Let's have a Rev E. There it is. Now, any record effects or unison effects are going to be committed to tape. So let's see what we've got in the... Let's go Andy John's guitar. Let's see how that sounds. Could probably hit that a little bit harder. I like that. Now, I'm not going to put any insert effects or tape on this at this time because, quite frankly, I don't think it needs it. I'm quite happy with how it sounds. It sounds pretty damn fine. Now, ARM, Advanced Real-Time Monitoring, is a system that works in a very smart way with the onboard DSP on my Apollo X4. Think of ARM as a way of getting rid of having to worry about buffer sizes. Now, in this case, we're using the Fender 55 and a UA 1176. I could, of course, put 4 record effects in, I could put a tape simulation in, and I could put insert effects in. Now, in this case, as I said in the previous video, the unison effect and the record effects will be burned into my audio. That's absolutely fine. But any other UA effects I have in my chain will take advantage of ARM. Think of ARM as a way of moving the processing power around your system. In this case, if I had a UAD2 satellite attached to my rig, which I don't, I could offload some of the playback DSP to that satellite, but the ARM system means that all the processing is being done locally in the Apollo X4, meaning that I've got about a 2 millisecond delay of latency. Practically nothing, it's inaudible, you certainly can't feel it. ARM does a really smart job of just allocating the power you need where you need it, when you need it. It's very, very powerful and very effective in this particular case. So let's record some rhythm guitar part. So there's my rhythm guitar part. I'm fairly happy with that. I want to now add another guitar track. So let's do that. And you can see it's giving me the same high Z input. Now, if I was doing this in the console, I'd have to manually keep changing my plugin chain for each time I use that same input. Not the case with Luna. Let's add the Friedman Buxom Betty amp that I really liked when I reviewed it. What feels like a million years ago. So listen to that. Feels really nice. Now, if I decide I want to go back to the rhythm part, all the plugins I had for the rhythm part are still there in the channel, even though the 2 channels share the same input. Now, that wasn't possible using the old console. So let's add some guitar to this. Now, one of the things people have been asking is what is the track limit or input limit for Luna? Honestly, there is no track limit. It's whatever your system will handle. Now, the input limit is defined by the number of Apollo units you can have attached to a Luna system at the same time. That is 4. So 4 Apollo 16s will give you 64 inputs. Enough for most people, I think you'll agree. So we're going to bring in a vocal track or 3. Let's have 3 tracks. Let's do a 3-part harmony on this. So there we go. So let's call this BV1, BV2, BV3. And I am going to choose the same input. This time I'm using input 2. Now what I can do is select all these together and choose input 2, and it will change them all at the same time. It's kind of a soft grouping, if you like. I'm going to go into record enable. I'm going to choose, let's have the Avalon channel strip. Let's choose a preset for this. Vocals is always a good place to start. Now for this microphone, I need phantom power. There she blows. So for part 1, let's record some vocals. Ba-da, ba-ba-ba-da. Ba-da, ba-ba-ba-da. Ba-da, ba-ba-ba-da. Ba-da, ba-ba-ba-da. Ba-da. There's our 3 vocal harmonies. Let's spread those around a little bit. Bring them down. And what we can also do is pop these into a group or a bus. Let's call it BV bus. Boom. There it is. Now, we just set those to our BV bus. And now everything's going to the right place through some lovely Neve summing. Ba-da, ba-ba-ba-da, ba-da, ba-ba-ba-da. Another really nice feature here is this one called Spill. Now think of this as a little bit like VCA Spill without the automation involved. With these 3 BVs selected and the Spill option engaged, we're able to focus just on our BVs, which is really nice. Now, if I choose in the tracks view to hide our BVs and I use Spill, they're still there, which is really, really nice. I like this feature a lot. I'm going to bring them back because we can continue to play with them. Let's just pull that one down a little bit. Ba-da, ba-ba-ba-da. Now there are so many other things I could squeeze into this video from a Luna workflow point of view, but I think that's enough to get you up and running and doing some multi-track recording and being creative in Luna. So there you go, that's all things Luna for tracking. Now, if you are a Universal Audio Apollo Thunderbolt owner, Luna can be yours for free, nada, bakshi, not a penny. Log into your UA account, download it, and get cracking on making some music for free. It's very, very cool, and it's very straightforward. Hope you enjoyed that. My name's James Ivey, and I'll see you again very soon for some more Gear Talk.